Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the University of Nottingham pre-departure briefing for our Kaplan students, Kaplan progressors today. My name's Simon Pond. I work in the international student recruitment team at the University of Nottingham. I will be taking you through these slides today. Some of you may be familiar with my face or my name. We've been speaking to students throughout the year about everything they need to know about the University of Nottingham, and we're right at the end, hopefully I think most of you will have finished already, but some of you nearing the end, and you are just 2 months away from joining us at the University of Nottingham for your undergraduate or postgraduate degree. So we are really, really excited to have you join us and to telling you all that you've got to look forward to over the next around hour or so. We've got slides. Hopefully you can see that, see them on my screen. But if anybody can't see the slides, please do let me know. Really pleased to be joined by Javier, who's from the College Services team at UoN, and also Dwayne from the College Services team on the Digital Pathways route. So there will be students from both cohorts today. Some of you may be more familiar with the Nottingham content than others, so I'll be taking you through everything from the campuses, what you've got to look forward to, Nottingham as a city, and then everything you need to prepare in advance of leaving your home country, and also when you get here and everything you need to do there on in. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any questions, then please do add them to the chat. Javi and Dwayne will be able to answer them. If not answer them in the chat, then just collate them and they'll be asked to me at the end once the slides are finished. And then we'll hopefully have all of your questions answered either way. So you are, by default, I think you're on mute. Your mics are on mute and your cameras are off. Please, just a bit of housekeeping, just keep it that way whilst the presentation is going on. Feel free to raise your hand towards the end and we'll come to you with any questions that aren't in the chat. But yes, I will begin. So a very warm welcome. Like I said, we are super excited for the next couple of months to get you all prepared and ready to join us at the University of Nottingham. Why Nottingham is quite a common question, and it's something you've probably heard from us over the last year and before you started at Kaplan when you were researching the universities. But Nottingham really is a world-leading university. I think you've done extremely well to get this far in your journey, to get your offer from Nottingham and to be accepted onto your course. And if you've got any conditions outstanding, keep working hard just to get yourself over the line, because Nottingham is it's an amazing place, amazing university. In terms of rankings, as you can see at the top, we're a world top 100 university, a member of the UK's Russell Group of universities, which is a prestigious group of high-performing universities, research-intensive universities in the UK. Most importantly, I think for students and making sure you're in the right place for yourself, because studies are obviously, if you're on a postgraduate course, they're for a year or so. If you're on an undergraduate course, you might be here with us for 3 or 4 years. So it's really important that you know that you're joining university you're going to feel like you belong at. So in terms of student life, we've got lots that I'm going to talk you through today, but we're very highly ranked for student life as well. And we're a 3-time Sports University of the Year. So for all of you who are keen in playing sports, watching sports, whether that's at a competitive level or just for fun, we've got tons and tons of opportunities for you at Nottingham. So for those of you who are at the University of Nottingham International College, you will likely be very familiar with our campuses already. So we have 3 main UK-based campuses. Our University Park campus is our biggest. It's considered our main campus quite commonly, but that's just because it was the first one at the University of Nottingham that we had in the UK. So it really is a stunning campus. It's very big. It's got everything you need, from all the teaching spaces, accommodation blocks, all the amenities that you're going to need, and lots of green space, which is really great for when you just want to unwind and relax in between classes, over the summer, at weekends, whenever you want to. The David Ross Sports Village, again, is something that you might have heard of. So that's our big sports facility on the University Park campus. So that is something you can access as a student with a student membership card. And we'll talk you a bit more through that later on in the presentation. But this is what's considered our main campus. You'll see our Trent building quite a lot. That's the building in the background, which is again, quote unquote, the main building on campus. It's what you might have seen on our website and in our materials. But that is the other side of our lake, which is just at the entrance to campus, which we love to walk around, tell students about. It is a really nice space, and actually a lake that you can boat up and down if ever you feel the need to. So it is a great space to sort of meet friends. It's a great place to, if ever you get lost, to aim for, but it's very recognizable and something you'll see straight away on campus. So our University Park campus is will be home to quite a lot of the courses that you'll be studying on across the board. So for example, engineering or sciences or law. Engineering, you've got lots and lots of really high-end facilities, everything from our virtual realities lab to our product design and manufacturers lab, all the way to sort of electrics and electronics, mechanical engineering. You've got everything in a very close proximity, so you don't really need to travel too far for those. And on our science courses, you've got everything from labs, workshop spaces, and you've got libraries across campus as well that you'll be able to access from your first day on campus. I mentioned the green space at the university. It is a huge space, and it's got lots and lots of greenery, none more impressive than our Millennium Gardens, which again is a place sort of designed to just sort of feel the nature around you, relax, try and unwind from anything that you do have going on. It's a great place to meet friends, take a picnic, just relax, and highly encourage you. Walk through this. It's nearby to some of our student accommodation and not too far from our sports village. So it's a nice walk to and from if you do join up for the gym or sports or anything like that. Our Jubilee campus, this is where you'll be based for the majority of the time if you're studying on any of our business courses or computer science or engineering. It's only around a 20-minute walk from our University Park campus, so it's very close by, and it's known nationwide across the globe for being quite an innovative and eco-friendly campus that was built around 20 years ago. So you can see some of the creative looking buildings, innovative looking buildings in the background. This itself has got a sports centre that you can access with the same membership card, and other spaces, including student accommodation and dining halls and everything that you need in terms of that. On our Jubilee campus is our Ginogly Learning Resource Centre. So it's again quite a unique looking building. This is a library. So across the bridge is buildings like the business school and the School of Education. The library is where you'll find, obviously, you'll spend quite a lot of your time as a student. But it's a great space, quiet space, room for group work. So there's loads of space to actually engage with once you're here. And then there's just a couple of extra shots of the campus. You'll become very familiar. Again, if ever you're lost, then aim for these buildings that are very noticeable on the skyline. This is our Jubilee campus, so you might study across both during your time. And again, this is on the main roads. This is one of our engineering facilities that you might become familiar with on your course. Our Sutton Bonington campus. This is one of our it's our smaller campus, but it's slightly outside of Nottingham, away from our other campuses. So in the rolling countryside, so it's 12 miles south, and this will be where you're studying if you're studying in the School of Biosciences or Veterinary Medicine and Science. It's a really lovely space. It's in the rural part of Leicestershire, but it's got high-tech facilities with labs, a dairy farm, a working farm, brewing facilities, and lots of other space as well, including an SU and again a sports centre for students. So our bioenergy and brewing science, this is an internationally leading centre for brewing education and research. So if you are progressing onto one of those courses, then this will become very familiar to you, but also it's cool to just look around if you're interested and you're studying on a completely unrelated course. So just ask and you can have a look at these really cool spaces. But there's lots of plant and crop growing facilities, obviously, on our sort of agriculture-based courses. You can see some of them here, greenhouses. There's plant and crop growing testing areas as well on campus. And it's a unique feel to the campus. So if it's not a course that you're studying on, then it is worth a visit, because once a month there's also a farmers market, which is quite a nice opportunity to just buy from local sellers, local produce, and it's a really nice setup over there. So Nottingham, obviously, for students who have been studying at the college in Nottingham, you'll be very familiar with where it is and all the benefits and how to get around the UK from Nottingham. But for those of you not as familiar, it's a compact city in the East Midlands, which is right in the middle of England. So the huge benefits of Nottingham are the easy transport links. So there's international airports in London, Birmingham, Manchester, and to the rest of the UK on the train is really easy. It's about 1.5 hours from London by train, about 2.5 hours from Manchester. And if you want to go up to Scotland, that's not too far either on the train. A little bit further, to be honest, but not too far. And the University of Nottingham, so the University Park and Jubilee campuses are around 20 minutes on the bus from the centre of Nottingham. So really, really well connected, and something you'll get used to sort of getting around on the tram or bus once you arrive. So again, Nottingham City, it's a really vibrant, student-friendly city. So as well as the University of Nottingham, we have Nottingham Trent University, which is city-based. So the city is sort of designed for students. It's a really safe, diverse place, and one of the most affordable and economically friendly cities in the UK. So the cost of living in Nottingham is relatively lower, with prices for rent for accommodation being considerably cheaper than other big cities in the UK. So because it's quite compact, it feels like a big city, but you rarely get lost in it. It's a really nice mix of the two. Again, just to highlight sort of some of the rankings that have been given to Nottingham in terms of student experience, which we're really proud of, and obviously that's something you'll be able to benefit from when you're here with us. It's like I said, it's not a huge city, so easy to walk around from one side to the other. It's got lots and lots of shops, restaurants, museums. It's a huge city for sport. So if you're interested in your football, we've got Premier League football with Nottingham Forest. We've also got Notts County Football Club, and we've got the National Ice Centre. We've got cricket. So rugby and basketball are here as well. So really is something for everyone, whatever you're interested in. If you're less interested in sport, but you like anything else, we've probably got something for you as well. We've got a shopping centre, art galleries, museums, Nottingham Castle, which there'll be events during Welcome Week to introduce you to all these spaces. And also it's a real mix of food from around the world. So because it's quite a diverse city, that sort of introduces lots of different things, different cultures into sort of international cuisine. Our restaurants cater for lots of different needs. So halal, vegan, vegetarian options are really common. And there are also lots of international supermarkets throughout the city. So when you join, and if you're not quite sure where they are, or you just want to find something that you don't know if it exists at all, then we'll be able to help you out, to direct you in the right place. So Old Market Square is in the middle of the city. And this hosts events, festivals, and markets throughout the year. So as you can see in the forefront of this image is a Nottingham Beach, which is just set up every year over the summer. So when children are on their school holidays, you can quite often find them around this space. And there's a water as part of the beach that is built around it. But it's a really nice time to go and just walk around Nottingham and get your bearings and find out where everything is. For those of you who have been in Nottingham already, but weren't here over the Christmas period, that same space that has the Nottingham Beach gets turned into the Christmas market and ice rink. So this is an aerial shot of that. This is a really popular thing for people from Nottingham and from other cities who come to visit it. Really nice to visit with your friends and sort of go and meet new friends there. It's got an ice rink which goes around the top, which is lots of fun, and a huge Christmas tree. So as well as anything else, you get some really nice pictures there that you can send home to your friends and family. So the Goose Fair is another annual event that happens sort of around September, October time each year. And that is slightly outside of the city centre. But as you can see, it's a huge fair that's famous to Nottingham and attracts lots and lots of visitors. But again, it's everything you can think of from rides. It's sort of a carnival atmosphere and well worth a visit if you haven't already been there. Nottingham itself, obviously, home to the legend of Robin Hood and Sherwood Forest. So Robin Hood references you will see across the whole of Nottingham. So the picture in the bottom right is just behind Nottingham Castle. So that's quite a famous picture to take. If you go to Nottingham, you sort of have to take this picture with Robin Hood. And Sherwood Forest is a little bit further out of Nottingham, but definitely worth a visit on a weekend or something. If there's a sort of society or club at the university going, that's probably a great way to do it. And it's home to the Major Oak, which is, I think it's between 800 and 1,000 years old. So a really historic and absolutely enormous tree that is worth a visit. Closer to the university is Woollerton Hall and Deer Park, which is again super popular, especially with students. It's not too far from University Park and Jubilee campuses. It is an active deer park, so you will be sitting, relaxing around deer who also live there. But it's a really nice. It's got a big lake in the middle and a nice walk all around. There is also the actual Woollerton Hall, which is in the background. Which, if any of you have watched Batman before, The Dark Knight Rises, this was actually used as Wayne Manor in those films. So again, encourage you to, if you're interested in Batman, to watch that film and then visit Woollerton Hall, and you will smile because it is very nicely done. But a really good space, again, for picnics, just relaxing, taking a break, going with your pals. It's a great place to do it. So that was a whistle stop of Nottingham and things you've got to look forward to there. I'll now be taking you through sort of preparing for Nottingham. So we have a pre-departure checklist that we try and share with as many new students as possible to make sure that they've got everything prepared that they need to. Some of this information, again, if you're familiar with Nottingham, will be not new to you, but it's still worth paying attention to in terms of what you might need to look out for that perhaps you didn't when you first arrived. And that is everything from travel accommodation to accepting your offer. So we'll go down the list in terms of priorities. If you haven't already accepted your offer, then that is the first thing to do. There'll be more information on that further down the slides, but that is something you can do now. If you don't already have your offer and you're unsure about why, then do let us know and we'll be able to sort that for you. Arrange your accommodation, meet the conditions of your offer, and then once that is met, then it's up to the process of the CAS. So it's paying your CAS deposit, which actually isn't relevant for Kaplan students, so don't worry about that part. But verifying your CAS information is important, which you'll then be able to use to apply for your visa, and then make all the other arrangements you need to come to Nottingham. So there's going to be lots of tips and links in the next few slides. These slides will be sent round, so you'll be able to access those links directly from here. But it is really worth downloading all the apps before you leave. So from the App Store, things like Google Maps, Trainline, which is where you can book all of your train journeys from in advance, or Uber, which is a taxi service that is in operation around Nottingham. And we do encourage you to book travel tickets in advance where that's possible. So either from the airport to your accommodation, or however else you want to get around. But it's to book in advance is really important if you don't already have your bank details sorted, because you can do that online and that'll be valid when you arrive. So meeting your offer conditions. So you'll know what conditions you need to meet based on the offer letter you have from Kaplan and also from the University of Nottingham. So when you have completed your course at Kaplan, the college services teams send your academic and English language results to the university, so you don't need to send them separately. They are sent to the university and they're processed by our admissions team. So in terms of if you've completed your course and you've received your results, you'll receive them, we'll receive them at the same time. So there might be a slight delay in terms of processing time, usually between 1 or 2 weeks, and then you'll start to see everything unconditional in your Nottingham hub. If there are any other conditions that you need to meet, these will be visible in your Nottingham hub account. So take a look in there now, and they'll be updated over the next few weeks and next couple of months. But most of you are probably in the position where you've met your conditions and you have an unconditional offer. So paying your fees and deposits. So as a Kaplan student, I don't think you'll need to make any deposits to secure your place because they are waived for you. So if there is anything in your Nottingham hub account that says deposit needed, and then just flag to us or your college services team and we'll look into that for you, because that may be an error in your account. But in terms of your fees and deposits, we always ask for students to avoid making tuition or accommodation payments while your visa application is being processed. That's because these won't appear on your CAS. So it can just cause confusion and delays down the line. So if you have applied for your visa already and you haven't yet had an outcome, then just hold off from making any payments in the meantime. Accommodation payments are paid into a separate account to tuition fees. So depending on where you stay, if you're in university-owned accommodation or private accommodation, either way, these will be a separate account that you'll need to pay your tuition fees into. If you're paying for your own tuition fees, so if you're independently funded, this will be in installments throughout the year. These will be confirmed to you in writing by our sort of tuition fees team, but this can be paid in installments and by credit or debit card or PayPal, bank transfer, check or bank draft from a UK bank that you can organise when you're here, or a Flywire transaction in your local currency. So all this information is on the website, but there are some really useful links here on that as well. But yes, just note that the part at the top of the page is important to make sure that you don't fall into any sort of delays or anything that are avoidable. So your accommodation. Many of you will be in private accommodation if you've already lived in Nottingham before, but the university does have university-owned accommodation. We've got catered and self-catered halls available on our University Park, Jubilee and Sutton Bonington campuses. If you are in one of those spaces with us, you'll have your own bedroom and study area. That includes a bed, a desk, chairs, wardrobe and other furniture. You may have a communal bathroom shared with other students, or you might have an ensuite, which is just attached to your room and is just for your use only. You might have a shared kitchen if you're in a self-catered, or if you're in a catered hall, you might just have a shared space where you can still store things with your other flatmates. Internet access and Wi-Fi, of course. And in our on-campus facilities, we've got our residential experience team. So they are available 7 days a week. And they're there to support with everything from sort of settling in, making sure you've got everything you need, but then everything in terms of they put events on through the year to make sure that you're meeting your flatmates, you're meeting other people who live there. It's just a nice opportunity to meet some friends, meet new people, and yeah, relax. Make sure it's you're making the most of your time in your accommodation. So we do have an accommodation guarantee for students. So if you haven't already booked accommodation, there is a guarantee for all first-year students, but for all international students for all years, that you'll be guaranteed university-owned accommodation. So if this is something you're interested in, to be eligible for the guarantee, you just need to firmly accept your offer, apply before the accommodation guarantee deadline, which is midnight on Friday, the 22nd of August, and respond to your accommodation offer as soon as possible when that's issued to you. There's full terms and conditions here, again, on these slides and on our web pages as well. Many of you will be in private accommodation, and so that could be in one-bedroom flat, independent student village, or shared house with some friends. It could be very close to campus or in the city. You might have already organised this. So if you have, then congratulations, you've got that to look forward to. You might have nothing else to do. If you still need support with it, we have our Students' Union Housing Advice Service. So that's a dedicated team who are there to just guide you through everything in terms of the UK renting sector, any contract questions that you have, any questions that you're just unsure of and you're not sure what your landlord is actually asking you, and then they're here to support with that. So with private accommodation, your landlord will need to see your passport and anything else related to your visa in terms of to be able to rent in the UK. This can, like I said, the Students' Union service is there to sort of verify what is needed. So if you're asked for something and you're not quite sure why you're being asked for it, then reach out to the Housing Advice Service and they'll be able to talk you through everything. You need to have a signed contract, and rent if you're not already in a contract or already organised anything. Then rent is approximately 80 to 150 pounds a week, and you'll always have to pay a deposit when you move in. So a lot of students. So even if it's your first year and you're coming in, or if you're looking to share with friends in your second or third years, if you're an undergraduate student, that's quite common. So there's lots and lots of student housing around campus and around Nottingham. Again, when that time comes, then reach out to the team. That quite often needs to be done in advance in good time. So yeah, you might not need to worry about that yet, but when the time comes, that team is there to help you. So applying for your visa, there are 10 steps involved for international students to apply for their visa. For Kaplan students, there is actually only 9. So basically, you just don't need to worry about step 4 as a Kaplan student, because that deposit is waived. But step 1 is to start preparing your financial evidence. So this is on the website. There is a lot more information there, but obviously the financial evidence that you need to show in your visa application, you can start preparing that in good time. So you need to make sure you have the minimum requirements 30 days before, and you need to have before you apply. So if you haven't already, then you need to start preparing that now. And also all of your other supporting documents. So we'll go through this in more detail. Firmly accept your unconditional offer. Like I mentioned, don't worry about step 4. That's a tuition fee deposit that you don't need to. If that is in your account and you're not sure why, then do just let us know, and we'll be able to remove that for you. When you go unconditional, so when you've met the conditions of your offer will be made unconditional, and at that point, the university will start to process your CAS. So that's confirmation of acceptance of studies. When the university does that, you will receive an email that asks you to check your CAS details are correct. So that will you'll need to check all the details in there: your name, your course, your all of the personal details, and you'll need to check that and return that as soon as possible. Once you have done that and the university has assigned your CAS, then step 6, complete the online visa application form, which again is something it needs good attention to detail to make sure you only need to do it once. So make sure all the information is accurate. Then you'll need to book an appointment at a visa application centre, submit your documents and anything else needed. You will then hopefully receive your entry vignette, and you'll need to check your issued documents online. So students from some countries entering courses in selected areas might also need to apply for an academic technology approval scheme, which is ATAS certificate. The government website, the UK government website, will say if you need this or not. But if you do have any questions, then we do have a team dedicated to processing those. And if you do need it though, and all of your other conditions are met, we will be in touch to let you know. But if you're not quite sure and you haven't heard anything, then please do feel free to ask. Students from some countries might also need to take a tuberculosis test. Again, this is on the government website if you need to, and this forms part of the above steps. So you need to be tested at a clinic that's been approved by the Home Office in the UK. Some countries don't have approved testing centres, so you might need to get tested in a different country. Again, the website sort of lists what countries these are and whether you'll actually need one. If you do need one, you'll need to consider extra time and additional fees for testing results between steps 6 and 8 on this guidance, where you'll be required to provide your test results. So just keep this in mind when you're making your biometrics appointment if it applies to you. So most international students will require a student visa to study in the UK, as you know. The current fee for an overseas visa application is £524 per person. You also need to pay an immigration health surcharge of £776 per year when you submit your application, and the reason why you need to do that will become clear in a few slides' time. In terms of the benefits you'll get from that, you'll be given a 90-day vignette when your application is approved, which gives you permission to enter the UK within 90 days of your planned arrival date. And we always encourage you to keep an eye on the Government UK website for the most up-to-date information. That might be specific to your country or specific to the UK, but really important that you just keep abreast of any updates that are announced. Your financial evidence needs to show funds to cover any unpaid tuition fees for the first year of your course, plus living expenses. So currently the financial evidence requirement for living expenses is £1,136 per month for 9 months, which is the standard length of a course. So that's £10,224 in total. And you need to make sure that this is shown in your account for 28 consecutive days before you apply for your visa. So if you haven't yet, then this needs to be sorted as soon as possible to make sure that your visa application process doesn't get halted at any point. So it mentioned accommodation payments won't be in your CAS. So when you're applying, when you're in the process of having your visa application assessed, then don't make tuition fee or accommodation payments. And there are quite strict requirements for the timing and format of bank statements. So there's guidance on our website, which you'll be able to access now, but again, we'll share these afterwards. And you'll be able to just check against that if you're not already in the process. If you're in the process of applying, then yeah, please do. The next steps are to make an appointment with a visa application centre, provide your documents for biometrics. When your application is approved, you'll receive a letter confirming this with your entry vignette for travelling to the UK. This is a sticker sent back So actually, no, this might be, you'll be with an e-visa now. So there'll be more information on e-visas actually in the slides following. But the staff at the Visa Application Centre will be able to take your biometric information, so fingerprints and face photos there. And we've got an immigration support at nottingham.ac.uk team email address, and they are on hand to answer any questions about your individual circumstances. So they'll be able to guide you steps of the way. So some students might need extra documents. This might be official translation of any documents which aren't in English. So if, I don't know, they might be in Chinese or Arabic, then the translation documents will need to be official. So they'll need to be stamped as official. You need a letter of parental consent if you're under 18, and evidence about any changes to your name. So just any background on that will need to be provided in terms of the documentation. So your visa application, your full visa will be issued as a digital immigration status e-visa, which is newly introduced this year. So it's an e-visa, it's electronic, so you'll receive that electronically and be able to use it that way. You'll be able to view your immigration status online. You'll also be able to generate a share code, which you need to provide to the university. That's so we can keep up-to-date records and verify your immigration status in the UK. So there's a bit more information on e-visas in the next slide. So this is new. I'm not the visa and immigration team, but any questions that you do have, we will direct to the immigration support. So if any of this is new to you, then we'll be able to ask them to clarify anything on your individual circumstance. So if your course is longer than 6 months, which all of yours will be, you'll receive an e-visa, which is an online record of your immigration status. So you should only enter the UK after the start of your student visa. This will activate the student visa. And your visa decision email will contain instructions on how to link your UKVI account to your e-visa. So this is a step-by-step guide. As part of the process, you'll need to confirm your identity via the UK Immigration ID Check app. So that's an app you can download onto your phone. You'll need a compatible phone, or alternatively, there is an online version, which you just need on a device with an enabled camera, so your laptop or iPad or anything similar. You'll be able to share your immigration status online and generate a share code for the university. So in this, if you use View and Prove Other option as a student, your share code should begin with the letter S. And I'll touch on this shortly, but your share code will need to be provided to the university in advance of registering at the university. So e-visas are relatively new. They might be different to what you've had before, so it's really worth looking into exactly what you need to do here. Your travel arrangements. So when to arrive. For undergraduate and postgraduate students, your school induction will begin on Monday, the 22nd of September. So Welcome Week takes place between the 22nd and the 26th of September. Loads of events are on during Welcome Week. It's a great opportunity to get involved in everything, meet new friends, try out new things, and settle into life in the UK. It's really important. And this is exactly what this week is designed for. General arrivals are from Friday the 19th and Saturday the 20th of September. If you're in university arranged accommodation or private accommodation, that will be specified in your agreements with those. Key bits of information on the right hand side in the blue box. The last date to register is for undergraduate and postgraduate taught students is Monday the 13th of October 2025. So if you haven't registered by this point, by the absolute last date, Monday the 13th, then you won't be able to register for the academic year. So it's really important that when you arrive, you register as soon as possible. There's 2 stages to registration, online and in person. Register as soon as you can when you arrive, but you definitely need to register before that deadline. So if you're staying in university-owned accommodation, you might be able to apply for early arrival. So that's starting from Monday, the 15th of September. You need to apply to request this option, but that's just for students who want to get here a bit earlier, settle in before the crowds start coming in, and just find your own way around before other people arrive. If you're staying in private or non-university accommodation, you may also be able to do this, but you'll just need to ask your provider directly. If you do choose to arrive early, you'll be charged for your extra nights in addition to your stated accommodation. And yeah, this may or may not be available if you're staying privately. And the university will require a minimum advance payment of £250 by the 12th of September. So that'll be the week before, if you want to do early arrival. So if that's of interest to you, then please get in touch. Again, many of you will have travelled to the UK before when you came to start your course at Kaplan. So you'll be very familiar with the English weather, which has its ups and downs. But depending on where you come from, you might be very used to the climate and what you need to wear, what you need to bring. Depending on the time of year, the UK might be significantly colder and wetter than what you're used to. In the winter, the days are shorter, so the sun sets around 4 p.m. So the winter can start usually from October. By November, we're definitely in the winter. So you might have a few weeks before this is the case. But either way, you'll need to bring winter coats, waterproof jackets, warm jumpers with you, or organise to buy them as soon as you can when you arrive. Bedding and kitchenware. So most accommodation options don't come with this. So you might want to consider buying in advance and collecting when you arrive from different shops around the city, or have it delivered as soon as you can when you arrive. But there's lots and lots of shopping centres and department stores in the city that cater very much to the essentials that you need for when you arrive. So if you're not sure where or what they are, then anyone in your accommodation or your course team or the Students' Union will be able to guide you in the right direction for them. Essentials in your luggage need to be clothing and shoes, toiletries and personal care, electrics, electronic equipment, plug adapters. So the UK plug type is G. So again, just Google that if you're not quite sure where you even buy those from. Any medication that you need. And your important documents are really key. So this will be in terms of everything to do with your visa. And it might also be useful to bring a spare blanket just in case you're unable to get bedding for your first night in Nottingham in your accommodation, if you haven't quite managed to organise that yet. In terms of travelling to the UK, just some tips. Try to book a flight to the UK that will arrive in the morning time. Queues can be very long at UK passport control, especially if you need to show them your visa. So please allow plenty of time for your travel connections to Nottingham. Make sure you comply with baggage and import restrictions. So there again, that'll be on your flight details. And book in advance any trains, coaches, taxis that you might need on the other side. So when you arrive into the airport that you arrive into, book them in advance just in case you don't have a UK-based method of payment yet, so that you're not left stranded at the airport. Things to keep in your hand luggage. So these might be asked, a border official might ask you to see your passport and travel documents, your university documents. So that's everything from your offer letters, your accommodation details, anything related to that. Your visa decision letter, your financial evidence and a copy of your CAS. And again, if any of those are in a language that isn't English, we need official translations of those. So you'll have them already. And so just make sure you bring those with you. And cash and/or credit or debit cards. Really important just to have to hand when you're traveling. UK airport locations. So Birmingham International Airport is the closest international airport to Nottingham. That's around an hour's drive away. Manchester Airport is about 2.5 hours by train, or if you're on the coach, for about 3 hours. London airports are around 3 hours away by train or coach. And if you're traveling or if you're connecting via Europe, then you could plan to arrive at East Midlands Airport, which is just outside of Nottingham. It's a very small airport, so you might not be able to, but yes, these are probably your best options for traveling. So I've just mentioned some of the times where these are and how easy it is to get to and from them. Trains, if all of these airports will have connections to trains. So buy your tickets by the National Rail website. You might be worth looking into buying a rail card. So that is something that's available to people of different ages, but that enables you to save money on train fares, which can be quite expensive. So that might be worth looking into. Or you can buy National Express or Megabus coach tickets. So coaches are cheaper, they're less expensive than trains, definitely, but you'll just have to account for more time spent on them because they're on the road, so they'll take a bit longer. But the university does have a partnership with National Express, which offers a 20% discount on tickets on National Express from Heathrow and Gatwick to Nottingham Broadmarsh bus station from the 1st of July to the 30th of September. So that should be when in the sort of timeline of when you arrive. And the Broadmarsh bus centre is in the Nottingham city centre. And there will be colleagues at the bus centre or student ambassadors to meet you there if that is what you're doing. DG Cars is probably the biggest taxi firm in Nottingham. So they provide a private hire service from airports across the UK to your accommodation, wherever you want to go. They're offering a discount for all bookings made via that app between the 16th and the 20th of September. So just need to use the code FRESHERS. And this is those booked via the app. So again, if you want to take advantage of that, that's how to do it. This is all on the website, so if you do have any questions, just let us know. But hopefully the discounts will sort of help to manage your finances when you're actually arriving, but definitely try and book in advance. Public transport, Nottingham is a very well connected city. So you'll quite often find taxis parked outside the train station or the bus station. Like I mentioned, we've got DG Cars, we've also got Uber, Nottingham Cars, and there are other taxi firms around Nottingham. An average taxi journey, Uber journey between the train station and a university campus accommodation is around £8 to £13. We also have the tram. So you may or may not want to get on the tram straight after you've got off a long flight, but definitely after the fact, when you're just traveling around the city, very, very useful. So that's available from the train station and takes you to University Park. You can purchase tickets in advance via the NetGo app. Again, it's another app that you might want to download, or you can do them at the vending machines at any stop. You can use contactless payments as well by tapping on. So if you have a eligible bank card by the time you arrive, then you can do that. But a single ticket is around £3.40. Sorry, and a single student ticket is around £2.80 or £1.50 within a short hop zone, so it depends on where you go. But yes, very well connected city, and in terms of public transport, very popular with students and everyone else who's working in the city and between the university and the city. There are lots of bus services you can use from Nottingham City Centre to get to University Park and Jubilee campus. So the popular ones and the most frequent ones are Indigo, Skylink, and the number 36. A single ticket on the bus costs £3, and again you can pay on contactless. You can pay in cash, or there is an NCTX buses app. You might as well want to invest in an annual pass or a Robin Hood card that lets you combine different modes of travel and can be quite cost effective. But then on the right hand side, these are just some of the recognised bus lines that you might use most commonly when you're actually with us in the UK. If you've never got on a bus in the UK, I imagine it's quite similar to elsewhere. But if you want to stop at a particular stop, then there are red buttons on the handrail. So you just need to press stop and the driver will stop at your next station. Again, if you're not sure when you first get there where you're going, very friendly. Bus drivers are there to help. Also, Google Maps and everything should be able to take you from one place to the other. If for whatever reason you need guest accommodation when you arrive, we do have on-campus hotels for if, for example, your accommodation doesn't work out immediately, but there are lots of options in the city as well. So when you arrive, university registration, this is a really important part of when you arrive, and this is something you'll get a lot of communications about to make sure that you have done both. So there are two parts to the registration process. There's online registration. This is available around 4 weeks before your start date. So if you look towards the end of August, you might see this option available. Online registration you can do remotely, so you don't have to be in Nottingham to do it. And in-person registration is something you need to do as soon as you arrive in Nottingham. So this year you'll need to bring your passport, the share code for your e-visa, your visa decision letter, and any document requested in your offer letter. So there are on the first couple of days when you arrive, and you'll get lots of communications to confirm the dates and location. You'll need to do your in-person registration. So that essentially, you won't be considered fully registered at university until you've done online and in person. So it is quite common for students to not do both. And then when it gets to the deadline, it could be that the university isn't able to register you. So it's really important, has a lot of other implications. In terms of preparing for registration, we do have a page on the website, again linked here, that gives you all the information you need to actually prepare. So step one is to provide your e-visa share code. We've got a digital visa status form in advance of the registration event or prior to arrival in the UK. So when, as mentioned with the e-visas, you'll have a share code generated in your portal, with your information. You need to send this to the university in advance of the in-person registration, so that when your in-person registration comes around, it will be quite quick and seamless. You can register for your university IT account up to 4 weeks before your course start date. So you'll need to log into your university email to access the MS form above. But you can do this again remotely before you travel, as well as doing your online registration. Step two, so on the in-person registration event, this is generally available for a few days during your first week, but you'll need to book an in-person registration event appointment. So that they're available from the beginning of August. But in-person registration, you'll need to show your passport, evidence of your date of arrival in the UK, so your boarding pass or anything similar. And then, yeah, they'll be able to register you fully as a student at the university. And the earlier you do that, the fewer communications you're going to get about that asking you to do it. So it is worthwhile doing, because then you're sorted and you don't have to worry about anything else. If when it comes to sharing your share code for your e-visa, if you have any difficulty with accessing the Microsoft form, because of whatever reason you might not be able to log into your own email account, contact immigration support at nottingham.ac.uk and they'll be able to help. When you arrive after your registration, some other practicalities, but Welcome Week will start straight away. So from the Monday the 22nd of September, Welcome Week will start. That will be the start of your course inductions. So your school or department will provide details directly to you about what this involves. But this is your chance to meet your course team, see the facilities, meet your classmates, enroll in your modules, or if you have any optional modules that you're able to enroll into, this is a chance to do that. And the attending your course related activities is really important in your first week, because it'll let you get to know who and where and what you need to do, but it also lets your course team know that you're engaged in the course and that you're sort of committed and you're ready to go on the first day. So the welcome week information. I'll add a slide in here. I thought there was a slide in here about welcome week. So there is lots. Welcome week itself is a really good opportunity to, as well as your course inductions, to try new things, meet new people. On our website, we've got welcome pages that have some events on there already, but events are being uploaded all the time when they're being confirmed by clubs, societies, and there's everything from sort of film nights, sort of film festivals that are run by different clubs and societies, which are really nice. There's global cafes, so for international students, to meet other international students, maybe people from your own country or new countries, and they're attended by domestic students, UK students as well. That's always a nice way to introduce yourselves to each other. And then there's other really cool events like an IKEA trip where you can go via the Students' Union, but go to IKEA and sort of buy your essentials if you want to. But that's sort of an event. It's a fun event where you can sort of win. There's competitions, you can win freebies, that sort of thing. So it's a really fun thing to do. There's a Touchdown Essentials event. So that is when you first arrive, that will have lots of different stands, and that will have sort of banks, student services, employability teams, all the different support services at the university. You'll be able to actually speak to them and find out a lot more. But Welcome Week is a great opportunity just to immerse yourself in Nottingham right at the start. So the National Health Service is the reason you need to pay your NHS surcharge or immigration health surcharge cost. So NHS registering as soon as you arrive is really important for yourself to make sure you're sort of covered and you have a local general practitioner or GP. So this NHS registration allows you to consultations, hospital treatment, contraception services, maternity care, all the benefits that come with the National Health Service. To actually access this, you have to register with a doctor. So yes, that's on the next one. So register with a doctor. If you're on University Park campus, this will be the University of Nottingham Health Service. So we've got a Cripps Health Centre, which is on campus. So this will be perfect for if you live on University Park or on the Jubilee campus, or you're nearby to there. If you're on Sutton Bonington, you'll need to register with a GP closer to them. But it needs to be your most local because it's your most convenient. But like I said, it's really important to do this to be able to benefit from anything you need. So if you come and you have an unexpected health condition, then they'll be able to, make sure that you have everything you need. You're prescribed a course of medication if you need to, which you'll then need to take to a pharmacist or a chemist. You will need to pay for prescription drugs in addition to the health surcharge, but all in all, it is really important that you register as soon as you can for it. Things that you need to bring with you to register: records of any vaccinations and any disabilities or medical conditions that you have. It is free to see an NHS doctor at the point of contact, but like I mentioned, there are charges for prescriptions, eye care, dentistry, that sort of thing. And one important thing to note is NHS treatment is always confidential. So whatever is in your consultation with your doctor is between you and your doctor. So obviously, any questions about that, then go to the Cripps Health Centre or your local one if you're on Sutton Bonington when you arrive. For those of you who have lived in the UK before, again, this might be things you already know, but for those of you that haven't, the UK's currency is pound sterling. So it comes, in terms of cash, it comes in £5, £10, £20 and £50 notes. And there are also coins for smaller denominations, £1, £2, 50p, and the other shrapnel that you get. Nottingham is very much a contactless city. That you can obviously pay cash in a lot of places still, but quite the most popular payment method is obviously contactless. So quite a lot of the time you're able to do that. You will need an eligible bank account to do that. So it's important that you have cash with you when you arrive for the first few weeks. And there's some conversion rates there and some typical costs of some of the essential items that you have on the right hand side. Opening a bank account, at the Touchdown Essentials event, which we encourage everyone to go to, there are banks there, and they'll be able to provide guidance on opening a bank account. Try to open one in your first week, as it can take some time to set up. To do this, you'll usually need a bank letter, which you can request from Student Services. Some banks you can apply online. Others you need to visit a bank in person, and there's branches in the city and some on campus. This can take a little bit of time to process, so please do allow for that. And you'll see recognisable bank names at the university and in the city as well. You can now obviously sign up to online and app-based banks like Monzo or Revolut, and some of these you don't need a bank letter, so just make sure that you know exactly what you need when you're actually applying. It is important that you manage your money and you have a budget and stick to it as a student. It's also worth bringing around £500 in cash for the first 2 or 3 weeks, or a preloaded cash card before you set up a bank account, because you don't want to arrive and not have any money at all, because it will just enable you to ease into your first couple of weeks in Nottingham in the UK. Work out how much money you need to spend. Try to calculate a weekly budget. Try not to carry cash around where it's not necessary. So you have safe spaces that you can lock that away for yourself, and obviously set up a UK bank account as soon as you can. But try and bring this with you in your hand luggage, just for ease when you first arrive. So scams and fraud are quite prevalent, so please do be wary about this. So this happens to, I imagine it happens all over the world, but it happens to everyone. So it's really important that you're vigilant about this. So be aware of fraud calls asking for payment. So international students can occasionally receive phone calls or emails from fraudsters impersonating UK border officials or asking for payment as a fine. So always be cautious about phone calls or emails that claim to be from banks, police, your embassy, especially if they ask for payment or personal details. So there is no scenario in which you would need to pay your tuition fees to a third party. So you would only ever pay those direct to the university. If you think you've been targeted by a scam during your time at the university, you should report it to Action Fraud. So there's the link on the slide. So it's how to report cybercrime to the police. And there's a Students' Union Advice Centre that can help if you are the victim of a crime. But just be vigilant, be aware that things might be fraudulent. If it's anything that's saying it's from the university, then please do contact someone at the university just to make sure, someone you might think will be able to verify, if not the team itself. But if you're ever concerned about this, then reach out to anyone that you know who might be able to help, as well as the official email addresses. So on your student visas, international students can work part-time, usually up to 20 hours per week during term time. So this includes any volunteering hours that aren't necessarily paid. It's really important you don't breach these hours, so you don't exceed these hours, because you'll be breaching your visa conditions, which is obviously not, you're not allowed to do that. So maximum of 20 hours per week. If you're interested in jobs, part-time jobs, we have a job zone on campus. So our in-house recruitment team can help you find part-time work, volunteering or work experience while you're here. And I'm in the international student recruitment team, and our team also have a scheme called International Student Ambassadors, where we hire international student ambassadors to basically benefit from your experience, your cultural backgrounds, yourselves, your skills, to basically support us on a lot of activity for international students. So that can be anything from campus tours to webinar support to meeting parents and students that are visiting campus. So lots of opportunities if that's something that you want to look into. Shops in the UK, so there are shops on the cheaper side and the more expensive side. Aldi and Lidl are quite global now, but they're lower price supermarkets compared to supermarkets like Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's that tend to be more expensive. You've got quite a lot of express stores, so Tesco, Sainsbury's, which are smaller and obviously just have the essentials. But when you need to do a big shop, you might want to go to either one big shop or a few different shops. There are lots of international supermarkets that sell might be home comforts to you, such as, so we've got the Asiana hypermarket, which is in the city centre, and we've got lots of student areas in Lenton, on Alfreton Road, and Radford, which are very close to campus, which you'll be able to shop around and find exactly what you want when you're shopping. But remember to do that within your budget is really important, because you don't want to go over that and be left without anything. There's also takeaway food in the UK. That's sort of Uber Eats, Deliveroo, and Just Eat, if that's something that you want to do as well. They're all apps, so you can just download that before you arrive or when you're here. So student support is really important. So particularly for new international students, living away from home can obviously be really challenging. And we've got a range of support services, the university support services, students' union advice. You'll also have a personal tutor and welfare officer, chaplaincy and faith support, welfare and counselling services, and 24-hour security on campus. I've talked about our campuses quite a lot. Getting between the campuses is free. So you can either walk, cycle, which won't take you too long at all, or we've got a hopper bus that offers free inter-campus bus travel for all students. So no matter what campus you're on, you'll be able to get them get for free to and from them. The timetable is available, and there is an app as well. So the My Nottingham app will be able to send you where you need to go as well. And obviously just make sure to ask questions. There's lots of friendly people willing to help, especially at the beginning of your course. So UK culture, if you haven't lived in the UK before, or if you haven't lived in another country before, if you studied at the college, obviously then you'll be familiar with Nottingham and the UK and the different cultures in the UK. It can take time to adjust to a new culture, and that culture shock is completely normal, and it's something that international students have experienced for many years in the UK at Nottingham. When you arrive, you might notice differences in lifestyle, behaviour, beliefs, and ideals that you're used to at home. And that is very normal. Obviously, if you've lived in one place for your entire life and then you come to a new place, and a place like the UK and Nottingham, which is very diverse, you'll see a lot of people from different backgrounds, from different cultures. Dress styles can vary significantly. There's a strong emphasis on equality between men and women and LGBTQ plus rights. Any prejudiced behaviour due to race, gender, sexuality, disability, or religious beliefs is not acceptable. And if you feel like you have any, you need support in any of this, then that is exactly what our teams are here for. So we've got lots of information on what life is like in the UK, what life is like on campus. But if ever you need support in any of that, then that's exactly what we're here for. A great way to sort of immerse yourself in lots of different cultures with people from different backgrounds is to join clubs and societies, so you meet lots of new people. And the main thing that we always encourage is to make sure to keep in touch with your family and friends, because We have lots and lots to offer you at Nottingham and in the UK, but there might be times in your first few weeks where you feel quite isolated, just you feel a bit homesick or lonely. Really importantly, keep in touch with your family and friends. Just make sure they know what you're up to. Send them pictures, send them things about your new experiences in Nottingham, and I promise you it will benefit you straight away and down the line. Just to keep engaged with everyone at home. Students' unions and societies, we have lots and lots. So there's some numbers on the screen, but these are really worth looking into as soon as you arrive. They'll cover every interest, from sports to fashion to K-pop. We've got lots of different societies. Whether you're already interested in a lot of that, or you just want to try something new, then there'll be something for you. There are lots of international, cultural, and national societies that are really popular, of course. And the Students' Union also offer the opportunity, if you don't find a society that you want or you wish existed, then you can apply for funding to create your own society. So that's really exciting. And well worth looking into, but I'm sure there's something for you already. So I've mentioned a few of the welcome events that are coming up. So that everything from the Touchdown Essentials event to the IKEA trip, film festival, are welcome pages. So just type in University of Nottingham welcome. They are live now, so they have all the information. Events are being added all the time, so there's some events I know already, but others are being added. So keep an eye out, and if there's anything that you want to look into, you can start to book as soon as possible. Global Buddies is the Students' Union led. This is an informal support scheme for new international students. So it essentially allows you to be buddied up with a current Nottingham student. They will be an international student who might have been through all of the same feelings, emotions that you might be going through as a new student. It's a really nice way to connect with someone who's a little bit older and in a more advanced year. They might be in year 2 or year 3. And just to make sure that you're settled in, you've got someone you know you can talk to. It's a really nice way to do it. There is more information on our SU web pages for Global Buddies, so we'd encourage you to look into that. In terms of sport and fitness, I mentioned this at the start. Nottingham's a very high performing sports university. So if this is something that you want to get involved with, please do. There's sport for people of all levels of ability, or if you just want to play for fun. If you're very high level in your own country and you want to try out for the university teams, then please do. If not, there's loads of different ways you can play sport for fun. There's intramural sport, tri-campus games, and Nottingham Varsity, which is an annual tournament, which is loads and loads of fun to watch if you're not involved with. But yeah, loads of opportunities, and the sports facilities at Nottingham mean that you can really get involved in lots of different ways, lots of different spaces. The David Ross Sports Village on the University Park has got lots and lots of different facilities to cater for absolutely all needs. There's a really good gym which you can access via your sports membership, as well as a swimming pool, climbing wall. If you've never tried them before, then please do give it a go. It's loads and loads of fun. And it will keep you healthy when you're studying and you sort of need a bit of a break to go and release some endorphins. Finally, your data and privacy. So again, might be not something you've ever felt like you needed to pay attention to, but this is just to reassure you that the university treats all students as independent adults, and we're bound by data and privacy laws in the UK. We won't share your data with anyone else, including family members, without your consent. So if you do want that to happen, then just make sure you let us know. But otherwise, that won't happen as standard. That is because of the UK's data protection laws. So just to wrap up, a couple more. When you're actually here, that's everything you need to know about when you arrive, and what you need to do to prepare for Nottingham. When you're here, I'm sure a lot of you are here for whether you're undergraduate or postgraduate tour. You're here to prepare for your career. So this is just a couple of slides on the employability opportunities you have here. You might want to get involved with this immediately, or you might want to leave it for a couple of months or a few months before you do. But Nottingham is the perfect place to sort of build your foundations for the rest of your career. So Nottingham is the top UK university for graduates entering highly skilled jobs. So that essentially means that more University of Nottingham graduates enter highly skilled employment than any other UK university. And that's been the case for the past 4 years in terms of the data. What this looks like for you and what you can get involved with straight away is things like the work experience elements. Of course, this might be a placement year or short-term internships, or our Nottingham Advantage Award, which is something you can take part in to sort of add different parts to it based on experience to result in an award. We are very well known for work experience and attracting really global companies to sort of hire our students. Some really popular names there. Very highly rated companies: Walt Disney, Deloitte, PwC. That's just to name a few. And there's a nice quote here from Mondelez International, and that's just sort of a bit of anecdotal evidence as to why they want to target Nottingham students. We've got a very good reputation, and you can benefit from that and really make the most of your time here. We've got lots of alumni from around the world, international alumni that are really plying their trade around the world. You'll be able to sort of follow in their footsteps, look at what they've done before and see if that's something you'd want to do, whether that's on your course or outside of it. Lots and lots of opportunities too. We've got a careers team who are there for you. They'll help you with everything from work experience, voluntary experience while you're on the course, and afterwards as well. And of course, afterwards, we have the UK's graduate visa. So that allows you to apply and stay in the UK or look for work after completing your studies. So always keep an eye on the government website for up-to-date information on that. But that is something, if you're on a postgraduate talk course, this might come around more quickly than other courses. So yeah, if you're having any questions when you first arrive about this, do let us know. But we've got that. That's what our teams are here for, to help, to guide you in the right direction, to make sure you make the most out of your time at Nottingham. Your next steps, that is everything in terms of it's probably quite a quick overview compared to how much you'll actually have to do to prepare for Nottingham. Please visit our welcome pages. You can use them to plan preparations, travel, arrive on campus. All of our social media channels are there. Please do follow us on that. There'll be lots of different updates throughout the next few weeks. Our welcome pages, as I mentioned, they're having events added daily, weekly. So it's really nice to plan ahead over the next few weeks to see how you want to spend your first week, your first 2 weeks, what you want to get involved with. In terms of key contacts, if you have any questions sort of more generally, then please contact the international office, this first email address on the screen. If you're any accommodation questions, accommodation, and crucially, if you have any visa and immigration questions, so anything specific to your circumstance, your current case, if it's in progress, then the visa and immigration team will be able to support you there. But thank you so much for listening. Thanks for your time. If you're live with us, thank you. Please do ask any questions in the chat and we'll come to them now. If you're watching on record, then like I mentioned, please do contact the email addresses on this slide and we'll be able to follow up and hopefully answer any questions that you do have. But thank you so much. I'll stop the recording now and we are really looking forward to having you here with us in September.